Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the CBL X's and O's podcast for season 2023. I've got Beck McIntyre out of the Horsham Hornets joining me again today, and we're sitting down to review what was round 8 in the Southwest Conference. And it was a bit of an up and down round. Beck, few upset wins in both the men's and we'll call it an upset as well in the women's. Why not?
Yeah, look, absolutely. There was definitely some results that you wouldn't have picked, I wouldn't have thought. So, yeah, very interesting times at the moment.
Let's start off in the men, and Rd8 hosted Horsham on Saturday afternoon, and Austin McKenzie obviously got back to his fine form, shooting 26th, and caused a hell of a lot of trouble for the Redbacks.
Yeah, look, Aussie's obviously having a good season, consistently shooting that 20, 30 points. But I did go to the game, and our Horsham men were not really able to get away from them until really half time. So didn't really have their best half. I thought when we made some interchanges and put the bench in, Tarkin, Bembo, Ryan Fitzner, they brought an absolute bit of intensity off defense. Sometimes our men don't really like to play consistently defense. So yeah, Rd8 were absolutely killing us. DJ Woods was, shooting threes in, Fletcher Berger driving straight through the paint. For that first half, it was really goal for goal and quite a really highly contested game. So, obviously you've got your scorers that we have consistently. Aussie McKenzie, Mitch Martin, Matt Brown got 15 points. Cody Bryant, he's one of my favorite players. He's tall, athletic, can run fast, jump. He got 18 again. But yeah, it was really good to see when we had some consistent subs in off the bench that, a bit of strength, because that just really allowed them to pull away. But there was a lot to like about the Rd8 team. I quite enjoyed watching their style of play, and they get up and about, and they kept pushing right to the end, even though it did blow out to 30 points in that last quarter. It was really quite a good game of basketball to watch.
And Hamilton took on Terang at home, and unfortunately for the Hurricanes, they couldn't get over the line. But Joshua Miller shooting 19 points for the Hurricanes is continuing to show he's a reasonable player for the Hurricanes this season.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll be really interested to see. I think he might nearly just about earn himself the All-Star 5 nomination. It'll be interesting to see where that because we're well over halfway now. Most teams have played, 7, 8, 9 games. So, he's been consistent for them every week. Their highest scorer, averaging probably about 20 points a game. And he's only young. So it's really great to see from Hamilton, the youth that they've got coming through. But yeah, Terang are just holding in there. They're the kind of underdogs, I reckon. They're my little outside chance here, I think. They just kind of tick along and they win a couple of those games. It'll come down to the line, I think, with some of these results we're seeing. So, so I reckon watch this space with Terang.
And Portland hosted Colac Saturday night, this game was, and the Cookers come in and stole a victory over the Coasters.
Oh, I reckon if they took a bus to Portland, that would have been rocking on the way home. I'd imagine that Colac would have been very happy with this win, especially with Portland coming off the, beating the Horsham boys and knocking them off their pedestal. So to me, I don't know what you see, Matt, but what I see is that no, Hayden Annette, did he? Oh, no, he did. Hayden did play. He's got 11, but maybe he just didn't quite get as many 3-pointers. Didn't change. He only got 3 on Saturday night. So I'll be really interested to hear. Actually, we should do a call in to Hayden and see what happened, because I reckon he could tell us a little bit about that game. But Hardingham 13. So, potentially they've stopped him dominating on the boards, but, stats cannot always tell the whole story. So it would be interesting to know what happened in that game, I reckon.
Good win by Colac. That's all we can say is they've got their second win for the season. And Mount Gambier travelled into Warrnambool to take on the Seahawks, and Dominic Okapinti shot 24 points, but it just wasn't enough for the Seahawks to defend their home court.
Yeah, looked like it was a close game though, 10 points. Dominic has had a great, but they've got, Flynn and Adam also having well over 15 points. So yeah, there's a lot to like about that Warrnambool team as well. But you've got Tom Daly, he's come back in, Toby DeWitt, so some pretty quality players there from Mount Gambier. And we've always talked about, I see Matt Birkenfield's back because I know that he went overseas with his wife Alana because she's been missing from the Millicent team. So yeah, he's come back as well. So that probably was a nice inclusion for them. But yeah, they're definitely not out of it yet, Mount Gambier. You can never write them off with those kind of names in the team.
And then Sunday, Colac backed it up, playing Terang in Terang, and the Tornadoes were able to defend their home court and got their second win for the weekend.
Yeah, double header win. That's pretty impressive for Terang. And again, Colac coming off that massive win at Portland, you think that they would have been just absolutely buzzing. So might have tied them out though, might have had a really big 4 quarters the night before. But yeah, look, Terang, that's 2 nice little wins for them and puts them, up a bit on the ladder. So yeah, watch this space with Terang. I'm just kind of watching them out of the corner of my eye because I think that they can make a late charge to finals.
And Warrnambool turned it around from their Saturday night loss when they took on Ararat at home on Sunday. They were able to get over the line by, that's approximately 15 points. And Riley Nicholson has put on a display shooting 21 points on Sunday.
Yeah, look, and it's always hard when you have to back it up as well. Ararat had the home game and then they've had to travel to Warrnambool. So, tough weekend for Ararat, but you've got your regulars there. It doesn't. Oh yeah, Fletcher was there, DJ. So yeah, interesting that Warrnambool have been able to come back and get the win, which they'd be happy with that because I think that bottom half of the ladder has to win these. These are really important for them, these games, and so yeah, it looks like Nicholson and Lawson had a day out. And when we played Warrnambool, number 12, Adam Lawson, he was really good. So he's having a really consistent season.
And Mount Gambier travelled across to Hamilton on Sunday and were able to get their second win for the weekend. And Simon Berkefeld shooting 22 points has obviously caused some issues for Hamilton.
Yeah, look, he's a big inclusion back to them. He's a seasoned camp. Oh, I think it was Matt Birkenfield that come back, but the Birkenfields have been around for years. They're big names in Mount Gambier. They've been highly accoladed in their careers. So, anytime you've got them, I see that they've obviously done some work with Tom Daly because he only scored 4 on Sunday. So maybe he was a little tired or didn't pull up as well for the Sunday game. But Toby DeWitt's come back out. Yeah, look, they're going to be tough, Mount Gambier. If they can have the consistent players playing every week come to the finals, I think, yeah, she's going to be, at least between Mount Gambier, Horsham, Portland, depending on what that 4th spot does, it's really going to be good and tight pushing towards the end of this season.
That's it. Let's take a look at the ladder, and Horsham are still on top at the end of round 8. They've played 9 games with an 8-1 record. Mount Gambier sitting in second, hot on their tails with a 6-2 record. Millicent third, 7-4. Portland are 4th, 5-3. And then we've got Warrnambool and Terang, both with a 4-5 record. And then we've got Colac, Ararat, and Hamilton to round out the ladder. Let's shuffle across to the women's competition. And Saturday night, Portland hosted Colac, and they ran out of, or they defended their home court and won by, that's just over 30 points, 40 points, that one.
Yeah, look, it looks like at halftime it was 46-25. So, quite reasonable, 20 points up, but they've had a pretty big third quarter, outscoring Colac by 11. As we've said before, Colac's a young side. So, the fact that they can contest with these top teams is a credit to them. And obviously they picked up their win last week. So, they're going to be, I'd say, going into the last half of this season with absolutely nothing to lose and only everything to gain. So I think danger team, especially when it's going to be so close on the ladder. I know that my girls are playing them this week coming up in the preview, but yeah, look, they fight hard and, they're young and quick and fit. So, even though they have lost by that much, it wouldn't have been an indication of the game. As we know, Portland are good. Strom was back in. Tylee Barr, she's consistently playing great basketball. She's, a really, really awesome young girl. Millie Jennings, Heidi Jones. Heidi Jones played really well when they played against us last week. So, they've got a really good, strong starting five and then some good depth off the bench. So yeah, it looked like they completely controlled this one, but I don't think it would have been an indication of the game.
And the Warrnambool Mermaids welcomed Mount Gambier into the Arc, and unfortunately they couldn't defend their home court, going down by 11 points.
Yeah, look, this is in my opinion, I think that's a bit of an upset. I think Warrnambool probably would have expected to be winning that game. Looking at their players, they've got, all of their really good, consistent players in there. Sewell's having a great season again. She had 16 points. McLaren, Peyton Noonan, she wasn't quite as impactful on the scoreboard when we played them last weekend. She shot 5 threes against us. So to me, it was a surprise. It was a surprise result, especially when Mount Gambier only had 6 players. So, interesting to see the outcomes of that. Obviously, we can only go on the data that we have, but yeah, I think that that's an interesting one, because now with Warrnambool beating Portland and Warrnambool beating us, but then Mount Gambier beating Warrnambool, and so it's going to be really, really, really interesting when it gets down to the last 4.
It sure will. Now let's take a look at the ladder, and we've got sitting on top Portland with a 4-2 record, closely followed by Mount Gambier and Warrnambool, both with a 3-2 record. Millicent sitting 4th with a 4-3 record currently, and then we've got Horsham 2-3 record, and Colac sitting on the bottom with a 1-4 record. So that ladder slowly starting to take shape. Everyone's played at least 50% of their games for the season, with Millicent playing, a few more than everyone else. So that ladder's starting to take a bit of shape, and it's going to be interesting come finals, like you say.
Yeah, definitely. And, you're looking at the losses, the top 3 teams have lost 2. Then Millicent and us have lost 3. So, we've all got 4 or 5 games coming back. So depending on the outcome of those games, that's really going to make a big difference to the ladder formation, because, we know that head-to-head comes into it with CBL. And that is definitely something that the coaches will be focusing on this second half of the season, is like we talked about, the game first to win. And then the second game on there is how much did they beat us by or win by, because we need to beat that as well. So it's going to pose for some interesting matchups, I think, coming into the next few weeks.
That's it. That's our review for round 8 in the Southwest Conference. And look forward to jumping on a call with you later this week, Beck, as we get to preview what will be round 9 in the Southwest Conference. So for all our listeners and viewers out there, stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the preview.